My name is Leslie Catron. I am a registered nurse, have been for 36 years. I am a pediatric nurse and a neonatal nurse. Worked at Children's Hospital in Central California, but now I work for West Hills College, which is in Lemoore, California, about 30 minutes from Fresno. And if you know Fresno, you go through it to go to Yosemite. So that's where I live and work, born and raised. It was the very first simulation conference I ever went to, first blush at simulation with a lot of other people. I hadn't even been to training. It was the opportunity I had. In fact, it was in San Diego in 2008. I was scheduled to go to training in Texas, but I had the opportunity to go to Sun. And I was just overwhelmed. I just said, oh my gosh, I'm first off in the right place. I knew that instantly. And I'm doing the right thing. And I couldn't take enough notes. I took reams of paper. And I was just asking tons of questions. Couldn't get enough in my brain. And I knew exactly I had made the right decision. I actually had made a decision to quit my job at that time, to cross over to academia from healthcare service. And it was a decider for me. It was a turning point. My experience in this topic was trial by fire. It was a brand new, the last proved to be brand new RN program in California in the last 5 years. And the director came to me and said, come be my simulation coordinator. Oh, well, I'm intrigued. But, you know, I'm old. I'm a baby boomer gone bad on technology. I love it. And where I was working was talking about simulation, but wouldn't make the commitment. So I was in my master's program. I wrote a thesis on simulation, was able to do a project in my thesis using students. Very wonderful director in another program said, come use my LVNs. So I did. And in the middle of that, this director came and said, why don't you be my sim coordinator? I wasn't sure what that meant, but okay, I like that. That was when I made the decision to leave. And then here I was standing, finishing my thesis, standing in this school of nursing going, I don't know what I'm doing. And I actually said to him on a couple of occasions, I have made the wrong decision. I have no clue what I'm doing here. I was teaching pediatric theory, but at the same time, I'm standing in this skills lab just baffled at where to begin, how to start. And I'm on the panel for starting a sim center. Here I am 2 years later, literally to the date, 2 years later, having just trial by fire. I'm in a very small community college in the middle of California. And the closest sim center to me is 3 hours away in San Francisco area. I had no mentors. I had no one to help me. That's why I started going to conferences. I went to the Sun Conference. I went to Dallas. I went to Magic and Teaching. And I had to pay my own way. The college couldn't pay. So, I dipped in my pockets and just started going to everything I could get my hands on. And I met the people at Basque up in the Bay Area and just plunged in. And I bought every book I could buy, which there's not many. Now there's more. But then there wasn't, and I read every article. I did a lit search for my master's thesis. So I started reading article after article after article in journals. I joined the two simulation associations and started getting on the listserv. And I just read everything I could get my hands on, just trying to figure out what to do next. Fortunately, my director's a wonderful person. He said, just do it. It doesn't matter if it's sloppy. Just do it. Honestly, the first simulation I did was terrible. And the students, they didn't care. They go, do it again. We'll do more. And I go, it was awful. And they go, we don't care. Do it again. So I did. And then I figured out, my director was wonderful because he said, I want you to build a program. And that was what I was really learning through Sun. And everything I was doing was about building a program first. I had one instructor who wanted a simulation every other week. She said, we have all this equipment. They had foresight. They had $750,000 to spend on equipment. And I got to go shopping, but I knew not to take it out of the box and just go. I knew to build the program. So I told her no. That was hard because she said, we have this stuff. We need to be using it. I said, well, no, we need to do this right. And he stood behind me and said, build the program. So I wrote policies and job descriptions, and I was alone. And we have 70 students a semester, 60 to 70. And I just started itching it through, and I wrote curriculum maps and how to put it into the curriculum. And we're about 50% integrated right now after 18 months of working at it. So this next spring, we are going to do a full 10-hour clinical day in our sim lab and rotate our students through, which I'm a little nervous about. I don't know how that's going to work, but we're going to figure it out. And the school's behind that 100%. They're giving me a second lab to do high fidelity in. They dedicated a classroom. So it's working. And I've got everybody on board. I've got the EMT program, the MA program, the CNA program. We've got them all lined up. We have our hitches. We've got a schedule now that everyone's trying to obey. It's okay. I figured it out, sort of, with a lot of support. And now we started a simulation collaborative in the Central California. We have about 17 different people involved with schools and service partners. And no one else is doing, they have nothing. And we're behind, but we're catching up. So, and that's how I got on this panel. I just said, I think I sort of figured it out, how to start and get going, and thought maybe I had something to give to help people start with a policy and work it through and get everyone on board and get your buy-in first. So I was very honored that they picked me to sit on the panel. It was like, okay, maybe I have something to tell.